Aerialbots, transform and roll!
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we're going to be checking out the Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Slingshot, the second of 5 Aerialbots, which once combined will form the mighty Superion. And I've got to say, guys, that I am slightly underwhelmed. Currently, there are 3 combiners on the go. You've got the Constructicons, the Aerialbots, and now soon to be released, the Combaticons. And whilst I can't speak for Vortex nor Bruticus just yet, the other combiners do seem to be a bit of a mixed bag. There was Scrapper, which visually looked the part, but for the Voyager class price point really wasn't that much of an improvement compared to the Combiner Wars version. The Deluxe class Bone Crusher, which for myself was such a disappointment, especially for being a Studio Series figure, and Air Raid, which so far has definitely been the best out of the bunch. But now we have Slingshot, and as we whack up an image of how he did appear in the original G1 cartoon, visually from the front, this guy looks to be incredibly close. The entire upper torso, including the head sculpt, really do look to be ripped straight out of the animation, and I think are leagues above accuracy-wise compared to the Combiner Wars release. But where the figure does kind of begin to lose it for me would be in the way the legs look. Their heel spurs are massive.
What are those?
And no matter how you pose him, they do just look ridiculously oversized. I'm also not too keen on this huge gaping hole. Again, pretty unsightly, and I know to some that these will only be minor issues, but the reason why they do bother me so much is really for 2 reasons. The first being the price point. These deluxe figures now average for roughly $25, which definitely ain't cheap, and seeing as his transformation is basic at best, these are really things that I think they could have ironed out. And the second reason being that unlike the past combiners, this guy doesn't actually have a proper combine mode. Instead, much like Dragstrip from Transformers Legacy, he will split directly down the middle to form additional armor for the skeleton of Superion, which really should have allowed the design team to solely focus their efforts in nailing the individual forms. Now, I don't want it to sound like I'm hating on this guy, because I don't think it's terrible, but for the new modern era and the prices that we as the consumer now have to pay, I really do think that we should be expecting better. But as far as the back goes, if you can ignore the heel spurs, then again, he does look to be incredibly close to his animation model, and honestly does do a pretty decent job in cleaning up. But I've got to ask the question, between both Studio Series and Age of the Primes, which will be the combiner that you think will come out on top? Flying through his accessories, honestly, he comes with the essentials, that being 2 Cybertronian handheld blasters, which do actually look pretty neat. These can also be slapped onto the underside of the jet mode to provide some much needed air support for Optimus Prime, although I do think it would have been super cool had they also included an attachable chest plate, which was something that we did actually see on the show, and especially as he clearly has the slots to facilitate one. We have seen them do something quite similar to this with Legacy Gears, so I definitely think it was possible. Landing in to prepare for posability, it is basic, but it definitely gets the job done. So to begin with, the head is ball jointed, this can look up and down, can't really tilt side to side, but can rotate left to right. The shoulders can kick forwards and backwards, and out to the side. The biceps can spin, and due to transformation, the elbows can bend way past 90. Although this guy is lacking wrist articulation, which I do think is something they could have included. But despite the whole combining element, the waist has no issues in spinning side to side. The hips can kick forwards, backwards, and out to the side to a killer range. The thighs can spin with the knees bending there to 90. Due to transformation, the foot can pivot downwards. Then finally, he is packing a supreme ankle joint. But to really see the true power of Slingshot, let's now put him through the pose test. Flying into some comparisons, I thought it'd be kinda cool to do a mix of both Autobots and Stunticons. So up first is the legendary Studio Series 86 Commander Class Optimus Prime, Transformers Legacy Motormaster, Voyager Class 86 movie Ironhide, Deluxe Class Stunticon Dragstrip, Aerialbot Air Raid. And honestly, if given the option between the two, I would definitely recommend this guy over this guy. Dead End, Wild Rider, then finally the 86 movie Bumblebee. Now, as for the transformation, honestly, you could have given this engineering to a core class figure and it still would have been considered to be pretty basic. Had they just added a few extra steps, then I really think it could have helped in again, ironing out some of the issues that I had with the legs. But
Transform and roll out.
So for step number 1, take the head sculpt and spin this all the way around until the back now faces the front. You'll then take the biceps and spin these around. And again guys, be sure to do the same for the second side. Inbuilt into the back of the head is also the landing gear that you'll want to fully deploy. And at this stage we can take the nose cone and extend it backwards. At this point we can now take the elbows and compress them upwards, with again the same applying for the second side. The shoulders will extend up and will attach into these two circular tabs. Once completed, the nose cone can flip forwards and will attach into the shoulders. As for the next step, we can now take both legs and snap these here directly down the middle. You'll then take the shins and pop these here forwards, which will then allow, in true combiner style, the thighs to slide into the shins. With the top and bottom half now fully combined, we can then snap these here back into place, allowing for the heel spurs to then meet in the middle with the front parts of the feet. We can then fully deploy the tail fin, fold down the side wings, completing the transformation.
Aerialbots, show them what you've got.
Here is Slingshot now fully transformed into his jet mode, and as we whack up an image of how he appeared in the original G1 cartoon, this looks incredible and definitely appears to take a lot of inspiration from an actual Harrier jet. Seriously, this guy has to have one, if not the cleanest undercarriages that we've seen from a modern Deluxe in a very long time, and really does put to bed Air Raid, who I actually thought before was pretty decent. The way this all comes together makes for an incredibly solid look with next to no exposed gaps, and from the top side the details and paint apps are on point, even more so than the actual robot mode. Now as far as his combined mode goes, as mentioned previously, this guy doesn't really have one. Instead, he unlocks in the middle to form armor for the bicep and forearm of Superion. But one thing I've got to mention is that whilst it's not a perfect fit, you can sort of mix and match the upper and lower body with drag strip, which I'm definitely taking as being a really neat throwback to a Duocon. Flying through some jet mode size comparisons to give you guys a general sense of scale, up first is the Studio Series 86 Commander Class Optimus Prime, the King of the Road Motormaster, Voyager Class 86 Movie Ironhide, Deluxe Class Stunticon Dragstrip, Aerialbot Air Raid, and I've got to say that whilst I definitely preferred this guy in robot mode, when in jet mode, Slingshot wins hands down. Dead End, Wild Rider, then finally the 86 Movie Bumblebee. So, wrapping up on this review for the Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Slingshot. To be completely honest, the figure is pretty decent, and in robot mode, visually from the front, he does look the part. It's just the legs which I think are really letting this guy down, especially from the side. Those heel spurs are just way too big, and seeing as he isn't compromised due to the combined mode, I do think that some of the issues could have been ironed out. The jet mode though is perfect, honestly zero complaints. Not only does it look exactly how he appeared on the show, but it's got to be one of the cleanest looking that we've seen from the main line in a long time. So if you are collecting these Aerialbots in pursuit of completing Superion, then you do have to kind of pick this guy up. But just know that if he wasn't a part of a combiner, then I would have said to maybe wait for this guy to go on sale. But I would love to know what you guys think. As always, I thank you all so much for watching, and until my next review, I'll see you then. Transform and roll out!